Welcome to Learn English Journey. My name is Elena Rossi, and I live in the old city of Verona, Italy, the city of narrow cobblestone streets, ringing church bells and long shadows that stretch across the evening walls. I'm 35 years old, and for the past 7 years, my life has revolved around one person, my little boy, Matteo. When I look at him, it's like seeing my own heart walking outside my body. He's 7, full of laughter, curiosity, and those endless questions that only children can ask. There was a time long ago when I believed my life was perfectly planned. I was married, living in a small apartment overlooking the river. I thought love would be enough to hold us together. But love can sometimes disappear quietly, not with an explosion, but with silence. My husband, Carlo, left us when Matteo was still a baby. He said he wanted a better life. I still remember the way his suitcase looked, half zipped on the floor. I remember the way the door closed, softly, almost politely, and then everything went quiet. He never came back. He never called, and so I learned what silence truly means. For weeks, I cried until my pillow smelled of salt and sorrow. But one evening, while I was sitting by the window, I saw Matteo sleeping beside a half-finished drawing. His tiny hand still held the pencil. On that paper, he had drawn me, smiling. That image changed something inside me. I realized I could not live inside my sadness. I had to live for him. I promised myself that no matter how hard it became, I would give him a safe and loving home. I found a job at a small cafe near Piazza delle Erbe. The owner, Signora Lucia, was kind but strict. Every morning I woke before sunrise, tied my hair back, and walked through the fog to open the shop. I brewed espresso, served croissants, wiped tables, and smiled at strangers who never knew how tired I was. My feet ached from standing all day. My hands smelled of coffee and cleaning soap. But when I returned home each evening and saw Matteo waiting at the door, his little face lighting up like the first candle of Christmas, everything inside me healed. He would throw his arms around me and say, "Mama, sei tornata, I missed you." And just like that, I would forget the blisters, the exhaustion, the unpaid bills. Our life was modest, a single rented room with a small window that looked onto a courtyard full of laundry lines. Some nights the wind would carry the smell of other people's dinners through that window, and I would pretend it was ours. Sometimes, when money was short, I skipped dinner so Matteo could have the last piece of bread. But he never noticed. He thought I wasn't hungry. What he didn't know was that every bite he took fed my soul. Matteo loved to draw more than anything. He drew houses with gardens, stars with faces, and once, a giant castle where he said we'd live someday. "Don't worry, Mama," he told me one night. "When I grow up, I'll build a big house for you. You'll never have to work again." I smiled, brushed his hair, and whispered, "That's all I ever dream of, my love." And I meant it. Time passed, the kind of time that leaves marks not on calendars, but on your hands and heart. Carlo never returned, never sent money, not even a letter. I stopped hoping. Hope, after all, can be a kind of prison. I learned to survive on gratitude for the sound of Matteo's laughter, for the morning sunlight that came through our curtain, for the smell of fresh coffee that reminded me life could still be beautiful. But one evening, everything changed. Matteo had been coughing for several days. I thought it was just the cold weather, the damp air of early spring. Then one night, his breathing became shallow and fast. I touched his forehead. It was burning. Fear rose in me like a wave. I wrapped him in a blanket and ran out into the street. The rain fell in hard silver lines, soaking us both. The hospital was on the other side of the city, and I had no money left for a taxi. I ran, through puddles, through pain, through fear. My shoes slipped on the stones, but I held Matteo close to my chest. His voice was small, trembling. "Mama, I'm scared." And I whispered back, "Don't be, my love. I'm here. I'll always be here." When I reached the hospital, my arms were numb. The doctors took him from me and disappeared behind a door that closed too quickly. I stood there, shaking, my wet hair sticking to my face, and whispered the only prayer I knew. "Please, God, save my son. Take everything from me, but don't take him." Minutes turned into hours. When the doctor finally returned, his expression was grave. He said Matteo had a severe infection and needed immediate treatment, something expensive. His words cut through me. I didn't have that kind of money. I begged him. I offered to clean floors, wash sheets, serve food, anything. He sighed and promised to do what he could. For 4 long days I sat beside Matteo's bed. The machines hummed softly. The smell of disinfectant filled the air. I held his small hand and whispered stories about the sea, about a big house near the water where we'd live one day. He smiled faintly and said, "Don't go, Mama." And I answered, "Never, my heart. I'll stay with you until my last breath." Each night I prayed harder. I didn't pray for miracles anymore. I prayed for strength, to stay awake, to smile when I wanted to cry, to keep believing that tomorrow might still come. The bills kept growing. So I worked even more. Mornings at the cafe, nights cleaning the hospital floors. My body trembled from exhaustion. My fingers cracked from detergent. I stopped eating properly, but hunger no longer mattered. The only thing that mattered was seeing Matteo open his eyes again. Weeks passed. His condition worsened. One night, the doctor approached me quietly. His voice was soft, as if words themselves were too heavy. "Elena," he said, "his body is very weak. You should prepare yourself." I didn't answer. I just looked at my child, his tiny chest rising and falling like fragile waves. I forced a smile and said, "Everything will be okay, amore mio." That night I didn't sleep. I held him, kissed his forehead again and again, and whispered prayers into his hair. "God, take my strength, take my life, but let him live." By morning, I felt dizzy. My body was burning with fever. The world blurred. I fell to the floor beside his bed. Nurses ran toward me, voices echoing, but all I could say was, "Please, don't leave him alone." They took me to another room, but my thoughts stayed with Matteo. Somewhere deep inside, I knew my time was ending. My body was weak, but my heart, oh, my heart, was still clinging to him. Later, when they let me see him one last time, I touched his face and said, "Listen, my sweet boy, you must grow strong. You must live happily. Promise me you'll take care of yourself." Tears rolled down his cheeks. He whispered, "I promise, Mama." And with my last breath, I told him, "I love you, Matteo, always." Then everything went quiet, peaceful, like falling asleep inside the sound of rain. They said I passed away that night, but what they didn't know was that love never really leaves. The nurses who cared for Matteo remembered me, remembered the mother who gave everything. They made sure he received the best treatment. Slowly, Matteo began to recover. He lived. Years later, people in Verona would sometimes see a young man sitting by the river with a sketchbook. That was Matteo. He had grown into a kind, gentle man with bright eyes and paint-stained hands. He often told others, "My mother gave everything she had for me. I live today because of her love." And I like to believe that's true, because even if my body is gone, my love remains. In every sunrise that touches his face, in every quiet moment when he feels peace and doesn't know why. A mother's love never dies. It lingers, eternal, in the hearts of those who were once small enough to be held and brave enough to keep living. If this story touched your heart, please like the video and share it with your friends. Comment below and tell us which country and city you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe to Learn English Journey for more stories and lessons that move your heart and improve your English. Your support helps us continue this beautiful journey of words and emotions. See you in the next video.